sisters. It's Miss Fields. I hope you all had a marvelous weekend and that you did something fun, and most importantly, that you are safe and healthy at home. So, today we are going to be continuing to talk about Venn diagrams. Okay, we have been talking about Venn diagrams the last 2 days last week, and we are going to be talking about it again for 3 more days. So, you are going to be professionals at comparing two versions of the same story. So today is April 13th. It is Monday. Your learning target for today is I am learning how two versions of the same story can share similarities and differences. I want you to think about it, soak it in, retrieve it. I'm going to say it again, and I want you to say it with me. I am learning how two versions of the same story can share similarities and differences. Okay? And our success criteria, you are successful when you can explain the similarities and the differences in a text. Think about it, retrieve it. Say it with me. I am successful when I can explain the similarities and the differences in a text. All right, super scholars. So if you can do that by the end of reading today, you rocked it out and you were successful with today's lesson. All right. So we've already went over our success criteria and our learning target. So today we have two stories that we are going to read. One is called Big Red, and the other one is called No One is Looking. Okay, so this is text one. We're going to start here with Big Red, and I just want you to listen as I read. Big Red was a sporty girl. She was tall and fit with bright red hair. Big Red liked to go hiking and exploring because she was very curious. One day, she was in the forest and found an interesting little cabin. Smoke was rising from the chimney and it had a sweet smell coming from the window. She knocked on the door and no one answered. Big Red knocked again and the door opened a little. The sugary smell of maple syrup filled the air. She entered the cabin to have a look inside. She could see that no one was home. Big Red found a table with warm oatmeal and a book. The sweet smell was making her mouth start to water. Big Red was hungry after her long hike. She looked down at the pot and saw warm maple syrup drizzled across the soft and steaming oats. Big Red decided to taste the oatmeal and take a peek of the book. Before Big Red knew it, she read the whole book and she ate all the oatmeal. I love oatmeal. Warmth from the fireplace filled the air and she felt tired. She thought a nap sounded perfect. Next to the cozy fireplace were 3 comfy chairs. She thought they looked like a perfect place to rest. She tried the first chair. It was too soft. The second chair was too hard, but the third chair was just right. She found a warm blanket and snuggled up for a fireside nap. Someone ate our oatmeal, a loud voice suddenly roared. The bear family who lived in the cabin returned home to find their door open and bowls empty. Someone has been sitting in our chairs, a voice screeched from the living room. The baby bear saw flowing red hair peeking from the blanket in his chair. And they are napping in my chair, yelled the baby bear. Big Red screech filled the air as she burst from the chair. Thankfully, her bright red hair gave them such a scare that she was able to burst through the door and escape. Big Red lived another day and learned quite a lesson about wandering into people's houses and using their things. I don't know about you all, but this story right here, Big Red, sounds super familiar to the Goldilocks and the 3 Bears story that we read last week. Sounds similar. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to read No One is Looking. Laura was not really a bad girl, but sometimes she did some bad things. Once, when all the other second graders had left the classroom to go to recess, Laura stayed behind. The room, always filled with lots of children, belonged to everyone, but Laura felt that the room belonged to her since everyone had left for recess. She went behind the teacher's desk and sat in the teacher's chair. She opened one of the drawers in the teacher's desk. In one drawer of the desk, she found the teacher's stash of bright red apples, which the teacher earned from the school for being a good teacher. Laura took one of the apples. Next, she climbed down off the teacher's chair and sat in William's chair. She peeked inside William's desk and took his favorite eraser. It was a green dinosaur shaped eraser that fit on top of a pencil. She squeezed the small eraser in her hand. This is now mine, she thought. She got up from William's desk and went to the back of the classroom where all the other children's coats were hanging. She stopped at one jacket, a blue one with red and black plaid lining, and stuck her hand in one of the pockets. She found a small bag of candy. She took it and held it tightly in her hand. She became very excited to have these new items that did not belong to her. Laura was so overcome with excitement that she did not hear the teacher's second grade class lining up outside the classroom. Oh no. Laura, said the teacher, surprised to see the young girl still in the classroom. Laura didn't realize the teacher and the rest of the class had returned. She was so shocked to hear her name. She jumped and threw her new possessions in the air. My apple, said the teacher. My dinosaur eraser, said William. My candy, said Jack, who owned the blue jacket. Laura didn't go outside for recess for the rest of the week. Instead, she stayed inside in timeout with the teacher. She was so embarrassed that she promised herself to never be so sneaky or greedy again. Oh my goodness. Those sound so familiar. Sounds just kind of like the Goldilocks story that we read last week, The Big Red, and then this almost sounds kind of like Ginger and the Three Bikes, where she ends up getting caught and doing the right thing, except in this story, Laura ends up getting caught as well. So that they get caught here, Big Red gets caught here, and Laura gets caught here as well. So I would say that's a similarity between the two stories because they both get caught. Okay. And then another similarity is, well, they both are bothering things that aren't theirs, right? In this particular one, she's bothering things in someone's house. And over here, Laura's bothering things in her classroom, right? That does not belong to her. It belongs to her classmates. But I will say that a difference with this story could be the setting. Because here, and no one is looking, this story takes place in a classroom, right? At school. But over here with Big Red, this takes place in a house, right? A house that does not belong to Big Red. So that could definitely be how these two stories are almost the same version, but that's a difference, right? Because they don't take place in the same setting, which makes them contrast. So I'm going to show you your story for today. So the story that you are going to read today is called Ant and the Grasshopper and Cardinal and Robin. Okay, this is the story that you will be reading today. If you come here to text 1, this is text 1 and this is text 2. Okay, so we're going to read this story together. Okay, I'm going to read the first text and then the second text, and then it'll be your turn to read the story individually, and then you're going to answer the questions for today. So, Ant and the Grasshopper. There once was an ant and a grasshopper. The ant was very hardworking, so he worked all day and night. The grasshopper was very lazy, so he did not work at all. The ant told the grasshopper to get to work before the winter came. Once winter came, they wouldn't have any food. The grasshopper said he didn't care and went back to sleep. 4 months later, winter came and it was freezing outside. Ant had a lot of food to eat. Grasshopper had no food. Grasshopper went to Ant's house and asked for food. Ant looked at Grasshopper and felt sorry for him. He told the Grasshopper that he should have worked harder in the summer. He gave him a little bit of food and told him that he would not share next winter if he didn't work hard. Huh. I bet some of us can relate to this story. It's hard sometimes when you're doing a group project, or think about maybe your brother or sister when you're at home and you're, supposed to be cleaning the house or cleaning the bathroom or something, and you're the only one doing all the work. Kind of makes you feel kind of bad, right? Or kind of makes it feel like, wow, I wish this other person was doing something to help the both of us. That's interesting. Now we're going to read about the cardinal and robin. In the big tree, there was a cardinal and a robin. Cardinal was a very hard worker. Both birds needed to build a nest. Cardinal went to look for straw and sticks every day, while Robin sat in the tree and watched. Oh, I see similarities already. Cardinal told Robin that she needed to start making her nest, but Robin thought she'd have time later. So Robin kept waiting. One morning, Cardinal gathered her last stick and started to get mud. She was forming her nest. She looked at Robin, who was napping on the branch. She was so sad for Robin because she knew it was too late. The next day, they were ready to lay their eggs. Robin tried to quickly gather straw and sticks for their nest, but she could not find any. Cardinal felt sorry for Robin and shared her nest. She told Robin she wouldn't help him next time. Huh. Okay. So your task for today is this. You are going to answer these questions. Looks like it wants to know, how are the characters alike and how are they different? Wants to know, how are the settings alike and how are they different? Then it wants to know, how are the events alike and how are they different? Okay? So remember, sorry friends. So remember, over here, okay, is where your sorry guys, Miss Fields is having some technical difficulties. Okay, so remember, over here is how they are different. So this side and this side. So you can put the ant and the grasshopper over here, or you can put the cardinal and the robin over here. And then here is how they are similar. Remember, it wants you to find the similarities and differences for the characters, similarity and differences for the setting, and the similarity and differences for the event. So the events, just think about that as the main thing that happens, okay? The main situation going on in our stories today, okay? So I know you all are going to do fabulous. So go ahead, reread the story once by yourself. Okay, read it again if you need to, and then answer the questions that go along here with it. And then don't forget to do your reading quiz / formative that goes along with today's story at the very end. And make sure you submit it, friends, so that your teacher can receive it and give you all credit for it. All right, Super Scholars, have a great day.